Hello, this is David Guerin, principal at Bolivar High School. This screencast is related to our parent advisory meeting on Wednesday, April the 16th. By providing this screencast in advance of that meeting, our goal is that it will help us to have more discussion and conversation instead of just listening to updates about current programs or future programs. First of all, I'd like to welcome you to the Parent Advisory and appreciate your willingness to get involved. The purpose of our parent meeting is to really try to make things better at Bolivar High School, to try to make our learning experiences the best possible for our students. So we have a few goals that we want to share with you. We think it's very important for parents to have voice in their students' education and in the opportunities that Bolivar High School provides and in the direction and decisions that we make. We believe hearing from you will help us to make better decisions. Also, to develop new ideas and create new opportunities in Bolivar High School for our students. We're hopeful that through the meetings you will be able to help us to think of directions that we might want to head. And then third, to develop community. It's always good to have input and just share with one another about the things that are going on in our school. The first thing that I want to share with you is the Bolivar High School Comprehensive Literacy Plan. I will include this link in an email that I'm going to send out in advance of the meeting that we're going to have. We have been working this year, our building leadership team, to develop a plan for being more comprehensive in our literacy instruction here at the high school. Each teacher has their own responsibilities for content instruction, which is very, very important, but an ultimate goal for us is that when students graduate, they are prepared for life, prepared for college. The motto of our school district now is learning for life, and being able to use their minds well, being able to be good consumers of information, be able to apply what they learned, being able to think critically. Those skills go across all content areas, and so reading, writing, and thinking skills have really been a goal for us this year, and we are planning to be even more systemic next year in some building initiatives around that topic. So if you get a chance and you want to check out that form in its current draft, you can do it at the link that I'll send you in the email. Keep in mind that it is still a draft. We are currently working on it and would invite any input on the literacy plan at our advisory meeting. Some hot topics this year in education have been standards-based grading, the Missouri Learning Standards, also known as Common Core, and school funding. I want to take just a minute to discuss the status of these issues for Bolivar High School. First of all, standards-based grading. We have had a pilot of 6 teachers in our building who have, in part or whole, used a standards-based grading format for assessing student learning this school year. Those classes, all of them, have still translated their standards-based grading practice into a percentage or a letter grade for transcript purposes so that students will still have a GPA just like any other student. Standards-based grading comes out of a philosophy of trying to make grading more focused on specific learning goals rather than just on accumulation of points. In a traditional grading system, sometimes the accumulation of points could be misleading to how much learning actually occurred. And so standards-based reporting is a way to try to tie learning directly to the goals that are happening in the classroom. It's more complicated than that, but that's basically the essence of what we're trying to do with that. So some teachers have been really encouraged and have wanted to try that, and they are sort of testing the waters a little bit to see how that's working in their classroom. Our goals with standards-based grading is more accountability for students, more clarity on exactly to what degree learning the standards were learned. In a traditional report card, you're going to get a letter grade and a percentage perhaps, and that's about it. It may not exactly describe what standards were learned and to what extent. So a student could hypothetically have mastered several of the things in the course to the extent that they got an A or a B, but there could be gaping holes that the parent might not have that communicated on the report card. Hopefully that information would be made known so that it can be addressed even in a traditional system, but that is one of the reasons why standards-based grading has been gaining in popularity all across the nation. The Missouri Learning Standards is another topic, or Common Core. We've heard a lot about that. That has been a very politically charged topic across the nation, as there's been a movement to stop the Common Core. And there's a lot of information, but also some misinformation about that has been floating around out there. Our teachers have worked in math and in English to align our curriculum to the Missouri Learning Standards. The standards themselves are actually not that different, at least at the high school level, from what we had before. Now, they do up the rigor. There's no question about that. They're really an extension of our previous standards, which were the Missouri GLEs, or grade level expectations. But we have aligned in those two areas, and those are the only two areas that we even have standards currently. So some of the ideas about science instruction or health or sex ed and things like that have been out there, that's really not related to the Missouri Learning Standards. Those may have been things that were implemented in other parts of the country that were somehow tied to those standards. I don't know. But for us, we believe that the standards document is appropriate for our learners, and while not perfect, they are good, rigorous standards that will help our students to be successful. Some things that are big emphasis in the Missouri Learning Standards: nonfiction reading and writing is an important part of that. Critical thinking is another important part of that. Close reading of complex texts. Some of the reading and writing expectations are increased in the new standards, and instruction in math is also rigorous in those new standards. So if you have questions about any of that, I'd be happy to answer them. Sorry about that interruption. Going ahead, the last thing I was just going to touch on is school funding. There has been quite a bit of discussion at the Missouri legislature about school funding and tax cuts this year. An effort by the governor to fully fund the school formula. That's been his agenda. It hasn't been fully funded for years. And then another group that's really wanting to cut taxes. We're not against tax cuts from the school's perspective. I'd love to have my taxes reduced, but we also think that the top priority should be to fully fund the formula and then look at any tax cut issues. So as you're watching the news this spring, you might keep your eyes open for any bills that come out and how they're going to impact school funding. For our meeting format on the 16th, we're going to try to get into some small groups and have some discussion of ideas and hopefully develop some new ideas, and some topics that we want to visit about may include these. We may not get to all these. It depends on how many people we have that are at the meeting. But some things that we've talked about is an enhanced or honors diploma. Having a diploma that has some additional requirements to extend learning for students that need to be pushed even further, that maybe they need an extra challenge. So we'll have a group hopefully that talks about that. One-to-one technology initiative. Many districts in our area and across the country are having students issued a device, some type of a computer or a tablet that they're able to use 24 hours a day, 7 days a week as a support to learning. This is something that definitely is a trend in education, and I think will continue to be. I would say in 10 years it'll be unthinkable that students would come to school and not have a personal device that they would use throughout all their classes. So that's something that the district is looking at and looking at sooner rather than later. Standards-based grading, we've already talked about that. Internships, we see the need to have students in more real-world situations. I know that goal for us is that students learn more about who they are through the high school experience and what they want to do with their life. And one way to do that is to get them in internship situations in career areas where they might be interested so that they can test the waters and just learn about what it takes to be successful in that field. Character education is another topic that is on our agenda that we're thinking about. How can we better support the character development of our students? We have great teachers that model behaviors and attitudes and mindsets that are healthy, but we also need to look at how can we intentionally and system-wide, building-wide teach skills that are going to help students be successful beyond high school. Parent involvement opportunities. We just recognize that we have so many parents with so many skills and just a desire to serve and help that we really underutilize that resource, and we need to offer opportunities to get involved and really make an impact to support just a variety of things that we have. So we'll try to have some discussion of that. And then finally, our literacy plan. That file I will share, and you can take a look at it and review that prior to the meeting if you get a chance. I'd also like to know of any other topics, questions that you would like to see addressed at the advisory committee meeting on April the 16th. So in the email that I send out in advance of that with the agenda, I will also include a opportunity to submit any questions that you might like to have addressed, and we'll try to get to as many of those as we possibly can. So thank you for taking some time to preview this in advance of the meeting. We hope that it's helpful to help your voice to be heard on the 16th as we meet and discuss Bolivar High School. Thank you.